Now let's learn about inner classes. Whenever we define a class within another class, it is called the inner class. These are very specific classes defined for very specific purpose. Generally, we define only one class in a .java file, but for some special purposes, we define another class, a class inside that. But for some special purposes, we define a class inside another class. So there are four type of different Java classes. There is a member inner class, which is defined as a member inside a class. Then there is a static nested class. There is a slight difference between member inner class and static nested class. We'll see in more detail in the example. Then there is a local inner class. We'll learn about that as well. And fourth one is an anonymous inner class. We'll learn about that as well. So let's jump into the code and understand the different type of inner classes. So we have this outer class called outer class, where we have the string message hello from outer class. And inside this class, we have defined another class, which is this one, inner class. Okay. And in this inner class, we have defined a display method. Now this display method prints this message, which is there in the outer class. It is not there in the inner class. It is there in the outer class. So when we create an object of this outer class, then so in order to create an object of this inner class, first we need to create an object of the outer class. Then using that object, we can do dot new inner class and then create this inner class. And then if we call this display method, then this display method will be called. Let's see. So first we are creating an object of the outer class. Then using the object of the outer class, we are creating an object of the inner class. And then when we call the display method, we can see that the flow goes inside the display method of the inner class, and then it is able to print the message which was the property of the outer class. Okay, so this is the first type of inner class, which is the member inner class. Now the second type of inner class is a static inner class. So in this case, we make this static. We add the static keyword in front of the class keyword. Okay, and then it will be only be able to access the static properties of the class. For example, if we do something similar to that we did in the inner class, it will not be able to access this message property. What we will have to do is we'll have to make this message as static. Then it will be able to access this message property. And in order to create an object of the static inner class, you simply have to do outer class dot inner class name, and you can directly create an object of the static inner class. We will see if we debug this program, it is directly creating an object of the static inner class. And when we call display of the static inner class, it is going inside the display method of the static inner class, and it is able to print the message again. You can see this message here is printed by this method. Okay. Now the third type of class is the local inner class. It is defined here. This class is not even defined at the class level. It is defined inside a method. Here we have this display method, and inside this display method, this local inner class is defined. Okay. So in order to call any method of this class, you will have to call it inside this method only. You cannot call it outside this method and the main method. Anywhere else you will not be able to call. So you can see I'm putting breakpoints here as well. So from the outer class perspective, there is simply a method that you are calling. You are not calling any other class. Now inside that method, if you are creating another class, that is altogether a different ball game, and that is what is local inner class is there. So let's test this one as well. So first of all, you are creating an object of the outer class. Then you are calling the display method. When you call the display method, you see the call has not gone inside this message method. It has gone to line number 36, where you are creating an object of this local inner class. Once you do that and you call the message method, then call goes inside the message method of this local inner class. Okay. And then the output from hello from the local inner class, this one is printed. Okay. So this is the third type of inner class, which is the local inner class. To understand the fourth type of inner class, which is an abstract inner class, let's define an abstract class. So we have defined an abstract class animal where we have a method called makeSound. Now this class should never be instantiated. For example, if I do something like this, if I say animal A is equal to new animal, I try to create an object of this animal class. It will not allow me to do so because animal is an abstract class. Okay, so this is not at all possible. But here what you are doing is at line number 7, you are creating an object of an anonymous class which doesn't have any name, and you are assigning that anonymous class without any name to the animal abstract class. So this class you are defining here, it doesn't have any name, and you are assigning it to the animal class because animal it was an abstract class. So this is how you can define an anonymous inner class with a method, and then you can call it. If we test this, it has created this animal class, whereas the animal was the abstract class. You can see it is an abstract class. How can you create an object? Because we have assigned it as an anonymous class. Okay, and then we have created a similar method as that was there in the abstract class, makeSound. So if we call the makeSound, this abstract method here will not be called. Anyway, that is abstract, it cannot be called. But this method in the anonymous inner class, this is called. Okay. So we can see that it calls the abstract method, and then we can see that it has printed. So this is the fourth type of class, which is one anonymous inner class. Inner classes are, lesser used. First, you should focus on classes, OOPs, concepts, these kind of things. But for coverage perspective, we have also explained you inner classes. But you need to first focus on the basics and the classes